Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's first video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 14 days for today's first video. Day 10 will take us to the 2nd of April, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM Ensembles. Very much around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, and that gets us into the second half of April now, so I should get on that for you in a moment. Just say that first. The video today was our 6 AM upload, and I've also released European Outlook as well, so please check out those two vids. If you'd like to do that, like, share and subscribe on vids. Thank you so very much everybody for doing that, and I hope you're having a lovely, fantastic and amazing Thursday. Right, let's start our centering temperature. CT has now gone into the 6s. So we're sitting at 6.1, which is about 0.4 of a degree above average. That is provisional to yesterday, to the 22nd of March. That will carry on ticking up a little bit more over the next day or two. Then we'll probably level off or drop slightly through the end of the weekend into next week, and then we'll lift up again in the final couple of days. I think probably going to finish somewhere in the mid-6s, mid to low 6s maybe, but it'll be interesting to see where we come out. We might still come out underneath February. February, of course, was 6.5, so that'll be noteworthy if we manage to come out underneath February. That might be a bit of a tough ask. We shall see. These are the GFS upper temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're looking at Birmingham today. My good friend Ruben's birthday. Happy birthday to Ruben Spur. Hope you're having a lovely day, my friend. And Ruben has asked me to have a look at Birmingham for the GFS Ensembles on his birthday. More than happy to do that. So the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Birmingham. You still be close to average with the upper air temperatures over the next 2 or 3 days. Then we go cold for a couple of days on Sunday, Monday, and lasting into Tuesday. But by Wednesday, by the middle of next week, we're back up to above average with those upper air temperatures then. We lose the red line after that as we get into the early part of April for some reason, but you can see the white line isn't moving that much. That's the ensemble mean. So we'll probably envisage that we're around the 30-year average as we go on into April. Although with quite a lot of scatter, we have got milder ensemble members up here and colder ensemble members down there. Looks unsettled as well in Birmingham, and that would be reflective of many parts of the country, I think particularly the north and west. So going to have plenty of precipitation over the next few days, and then it goes a bit drier like early next week when we get this colder snap, but as the milder air comes back in later next week, turns very wet. There's a big precipitation spikes there. So we end this unsettled March on a very wet note. Those unsettled conditions look like they're carrying on into April as well. I think dealing with snow road for Birmingham, so there might be a little bit of snow around 27th of March. Oh, you know, there could be some wintry weather for the early part of next week. That would be mainly wintry showers, I think, rather than you know, proper snowfall. Temperature anomalies. Happy birthday, Ruben, and I hope you're having a lovely day, my friend. Temperature anomalies from the 23rd to the 31st of March, coming out around to a little bit below average for the UK and Ireland. Most parts of Scandinavia looking quite cold, by the way, and warm down across southern and eastern parts of Europe. So we're close to or a little bit below average in the weekend. Precipitation anomalies stay very unsettled as well. So above average rainfall through most parts of the country in the next week to 10 days or so. Right, this is the latest Windflow Map from earthnullschool.net. Showing that we're bringing in southwesterly winds again today. So we've got an area of low pressure sitting to the west of UK and Ireland, drawing up this southwesterly, so it remains pretty mild, although we are bringing slightly cooler air into that southwesterly from a more northern point in the Atlantic. Eventually, by the end of weekend, these northerly northeasterlies will be bringing colder air in across the country by the time we get through into Sunday. So this is our latest UK Met Euro run is looking for midnight on Sunday. Low pressure to the south to the north. That cold air dinging in from the north and northeast. By the time you get through the midnight Monday, the wind has gone into the north with a ridge to our west. So we bring colder air in through the second half of weekend, and that colder air stays with us into the open of next week. This ridge of high pressure, expect overnight frost through the early part of next week. Not too bad by day, probably given the strength of the March sunshine, but cold by night. By Wednesday, the next area of low pressure starting to come in from the Atlantic, and that's introducing milder air from the southwest as well. So we turn milder and wetter, maybe very wet, through the middle part of next week. This area of low pressure bringing lots of heavy rain in across the country, and also milder air from the southwest once again. Icon again showing that area of low pressure to our southwest on Sunday. Cold air dinging in from north. By Monday, we've gone into those cold northerly winds. It's only very brief cold snap though, because by the middle of next week, the next area of low pressure is heading in from the Atlantic, bringing milder air, but also spells of rain, taking us into what looks like a very unsettled middle part to next week. The GFS midnight run, all much of a muchness through weekend into the beginning of next week. Those cold northerly winds setting in. Only a brief cold snap by the middle of next week. The next low in from the Atlantic, bringing heavy rain and also much milder temperatures, at least to the south. But north might stay cold for a while longer. Eventually, that milder air will get up to the north, though, even by the end of next week. Even there, it will be milder, wetter, and windier, with low pressure dominating from off the Atlantic. Heading up towards daytime, get a little bit of transient ridge building from the southwest. That tries to turn us drier for a while. That forms an area of high pressure, actually, as we go further on through the first week of April. So a large area of high pressure then starts taking over. That will bring a spell of much more spring-like weather, obviously, drier and also warm. It's still quite chilly by night, I think, with that. Yeah, it's coming in off the upper continent. But by day, it could potentially be quite warm, mid-teens Celsius, in plenty of sunshine. Maybe a hint that as we go into the Easter weekend, by the way, we will be starting Easter updates, I think at the weekend. So look out for an Easter update some point over the weekend. But by the time we get through to Saturday, the 8th of April, which is like Easter Saturday, which looks like it's going to take high pressure up towards Greenland, possibly threatened to bring down northerly just in time for Easter Sunday. But that's a very long way off, 384 hours away, so I won't worry about that. But GFS 6Z, again, with low pressure at south, cold air dinging in from the north and from the northeast on Sunday, and into Monday. That cold air stays with us. Still quite chilly on Tuesday under this ridge of high pressure, but by Wednesday, low pressure heads in from off the Atlantic, brings spells of rain and milder temperatures with it as well. Looks really unsettled by the end of next week. Deep low pressure knocking around the country. Spells of rain, not that mild either, has to be said. And then as we get to day 10, we get this ridge building in the country. So it's definitely signs with GFS operations today of some higher pressure for early April. We go beyond that, high pressure with the 6Z set up to our west. So these are drier pattern, quite cool, winds coming from a northwesterly direction, so certainly not a heat wave, but it is turning dry. We have got high pressure in the mix, so dry and chilly there through the first week of April and up towards the Easter weekend with the GFS 6M. Before then, though, up to day 10, we've got a lot of unsettled weather, so this is the 10-day precipitation accumulation based on that GFS 6M run. You see many parts of the country in the next 10 days getting like 30, 40 millimetres, but looking really wet down in the southwest. I know in the southwest it has been quite dry down there, but, you know, we've got precipitation going at like 70, 80, 90 millimetres across some of these southwestern regions. So like next 10 days could see up to 3 inches of rain, maybe more across the southwest. So that should help alleviate the dry conditions, I would have thought. If you enjoyed the video, then please can you like, share, subscribe. Thanks so very much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. We need to put around 15 subscribers to get to 15.7k. So if you could give us a sub, that would be amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, GM with low pressure to our south, cold air digging in from the north on Sunday. And most cold northerly winds stay with us into Monday. Ridge of high pressure keeps it chilly on Tuesday, and then low pressure in from the Atlantic by Wednesday brings spells of rain and also milder temperatures away from northern parts of Scotland. Looking very unsettled with the GM all the way up to day 10. No real hint of high pressure there at all, unlike the GFS operationals into early April. Just low pressure continuing to drive in from off the Atlantic. And the ECM looks like this. So once again, those cold northern winds dig in through Sunday and into Monday. They're under a little transient ridge on Tuesday before more low pressure comes in from off the Atlantic through the middle part of next week, brings spells of rain and also milder temperatures. And the ECM also has a very unsettled and cool look to it as we get to days 9, 10 into April, with low pressure centred over the country. High pressure is away to our north and west. Now, there is a ridge, but it's further north and west compared to where the GFS operationals have it. And the upshot of that is a cool northeasterly wind, and low pressure brings spells of rain. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Meteo.com. Plenty of rain in the southeast this evening. That clear away overnight. Tomorrow we have sunshine showers. That carries on into Friday. More wet weather in the south as we get through into the weekend as well. And eventually, once that gets out of the way, we open the door to colder north winds. They bring wintry showers into northern and eastern parts of the country before a ridge builds over the country temporarily and kills off those showers. That ridge doesn't last long. By the middle of next week, more spells of rain heading in from off the Atlantic in what looks like a bit of an onslaught pattern for the closing couple of days of the month, with plenty of heavy rain to come. Now, the rain particularly focused on England and Wales, a little bit drier actually for Scotland and Northern Ireland, but very wet pattern for England and Wales. These are the options on the table within the ECM Ensembles today for day 10 from the Icelandic Met Office. It gets us to the 2nd of April. 13 members of the ECM Ensembles with high pressure around Greenland, low pressure to our east, and winds coming in from a chilly northeasterly wind. With that, it does include the control and the operation run, so cool and unsettled. 10 with low pressure heading in from off the Atlantic. That's going to be unsettled but a little bit milder. 9 with low pressure, deep low pressure through the country. That looks very unsettled. Another 9 with high pressure reaching to our southwest. I suppose that would be like the GFS 6Z day 10. 8 with low pressure again over to the east of the country. That looks unsettled and cool. And then 2, more in line with GFS midnight, which is a very minority option, but there within the ECM Ensembles. Only 2 though going for this, with a ridge extending up from the Azores, turning things drier and also warmer. Most of those options do look unsettled at day 10. 2 in time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us to the 7th of April. 23 members of the ECM Ensembles then have high pressure over the country, so mostly dry with that, and with winds coming in from the east. Not overly warm, but probably pleasant. April sunshine has got quite a lot of strength to it, so that should be quite decent, I think. And these were majority options as well. So there may be a transition towards higher pressure through the first week of April, but happening a little bit later compared to what the GFS operations are doing. 16 with low pressure to our northeast and winds coming in from a chilly northwesterly direction, and then 12 with high pressure blocking within high latitudes from Greenland, Scandinavia, low pressure over France. That'll have a wind in from a chilly east or northeasterly direction. And the low over France will probably bring spells of rain to the south as well. CFS Weeklies last series of 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into weekly periods. The first weekly period will take us from the 23rd to the 29th of March. The coming week has a low pressure in off the Atlantic into North and Western Europe, it will be an unsettled week to come. That carries on into week 2, so the 30th of March, 5th of April, more low pressure heading in from off the Atlantic. I've got a nice ridge down towards Spain, but just a little bit too far away to turn us drier up to that point. Week 3 is the 6th to the 12th of April. High pressure then builds to our west and northwest. That will turn us drier, break us up the unsettled weather. Will probably be a little bit chilly with winds coming in from the north, but at least it would be turning drier there. And then week 4 is the 13th to the 19th of April. Low pressure comes back to our north and west. High pressure moves over towards central and eastern Europe. So back turning unsettled again. Probably reasonably mild. Winds coming in from the west-southwesterly direction. But, you know, turning more unsettled as we get into the middle of April. And if you enjoyed the video, then please can you like, share, subscribe. Thanks so very much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends and family about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe as well. It's amazing, it's incredible. And we thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. As I say, we need to put on around 15 subscribers to get ourselves to 15.7k. So you could give us a sub, it'd be amazing. Thanks so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, and don't forget to ding the bell, by the way, and you'll be notified when we release content, live stream, release videos, community posts, and whatnot. Right, okay, so just coming up tomorrow, we're going to have a 6 a.m. upload, JMA Friday, 10 to 14 day, the ECM 42-day forecast coming up for you tomorrow as well. Great to me, so many videos, and there'll be live streaming one last time. With a Friday night live stream at 10:30, so I shall see you live for the final time in season 3 of the Friday night live streams, and that'll be coming up from 10:30, and for the final time, one last time, we'll have a little bit of a laugh. Right, okay, you enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and for this one, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.